This is lovely, thank you. I'm from the UK, so I appreciate enthusiasm. And you Americans have it, so thank you so much. You may not be aware, I'm kind of a big deal in the UK, quite famous, which is sort of like being a big deal in Jersey. On a par, similar. And I would like to be honest, very quickly at the top of the show, mainly to my ladies in the room, but also to the men, I am a little bit premenstrual. So that means my mood is oscillating wildly between Sylvia Plath and Beyonce. Absolutely no middle ground whatsoever. It's either no, or stick my head in an oven. Two modes. Here's the thing, I got my period the day Donald Trump got in. I also got it the day we voted for Brexit in the UK, so I'm genuinely concerned I have less of a biological clock and more of a doomsday one. I don't know what she knows. I hit perimenopause, the world's going to end. Who is this Peri? She sounds like a bitch. A hot one. So I've got all of that going on in my life, plus I have to consider men's feelings as well. It's a lot. It's a lot. I'm often on TV in the UK and I'll get messages from guys saying, oh, I found you to be very, very funny and may I say, quite attractive. Actually, I probably can't. You're not allowed to compliment women anymore. Have you heard this? You can't compliment a woman anymore. Of course you can. Men in the room, I want you to know, tonight you could say to any of us, you look lovely, and we might say thank you, but we owe you nothing. That's it. That's all you got to get into your heads. We owe you nothing. No response. Also, there is a caveat to this. If your compliment is shouted from the top of a building or out of a moving car, if the Doppler effect applies to your compliment, it's... Street harassment, it's a very different thing. I know sometimes it's not always sexual from you men. I know occasionally it will not be about how I look, but it will be something about my mood. Every woman in the room has experienced this. You're walking along, someone says smile. I've started saying, actually, someone just died. And when they say, oh, I'm so sorry, I go, yeah, no one I know. Someone somewhere has just died, though, so think about that next time you want to comment on my mood. I'm also a stepmom. Any stepmoms in? Yeah. Oh, wow! Just 3 or 4. Okay. Rest are probably in their castles. Talking to their enchanted mirrors. You know what we're like. Yeah. I think historically stepmothers have been viewed quite kindly. Let me think, there's the evil queen in Snow White. There's Julia Roberts in Stepmom, who had the temerity to want a career. What a bitch. And my personal favourite, Lady Tremaine from Cinderella. Yeah, I love Lady Tremaine. She's got a cat, I've got a cat. It's a little bit on the nose. And she speaks with this amazing voice, if you've ever heard Lady Tremaine speak. She talks like this when she talks to Cinderella. Because she is a Disney villain. Cinderella, silence. You have chores to do. The windows, wash them. The tapestries and the drapes, clean them. It's great, isn't it? Isn't it great? And Cinderella respects her. She calls her stepmother. My stepson doesn't call me that. He just calls me Tiff. That's been our deal, right? I've never used that term myself. I didn't take it on until the first time about 6 months ago. I just went, stepmom needs a margarita. And he went, oh my God, that's going to be a catchphrase, isn't it? I said, well, only if I say it like this. Come on, boys, stepmommy needs a Tom Collins. Snap, snap. By the way, that is a bit of child labour I think we should bring back from the 50s and 60s. Kids making cocktails, right? Every 9-year-old should have a signature drink in their repertoire. It's important. Get to it. Make me a martini and put some of your tears in it. Go! Go, you got chores to do, go, Wash the windows, wash them, the tapestry. Okay, we don't have any tapestries. Just clean that picture of some workmen on a construction beam in the 1920s eating sandwiches. That'll do it. It's difficult. It's not easy being a woman in the current world. I will say that. I recently was informed by my stepson of a man who was working at CERN who apparently said during a presentation that female brains don't understand physics as well as male brains. And I'd like to explode that myth right now. That is not true. I've been into science for a long time. When I was 14 years old, my parents bought me one of those chemistry sets, but it just had one experiment in it that seemed to involve me pissing on the end of a stick. I think women get gravity. We understand it. We get physics, right? We get gravity. Just this morning I got up, I kicked my tits around the bedroom, Like, we understand it. It's inherent. It's within our bodies. We're not like Isaac Newton. What a basic bitch he was. We'd have to wait for an apple to drop on our heads to get that this is what happens to our bodies. My aunt's vagina fell out once on an exercise bike. She was in the middle of a spin class and she went, oh, that's gone. 3 kids, I suppose it was going to happen. I was like, mate, that's a bit rough. And she went, well, just pray you live long enough for something to prolapse. I said, oh, live long and prolapse. That is, enjoy your pretzels. So, I think anyone can understand physics. Like, anyone over 35, for example, can understand Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. If you don't know it, it states that the act of observing an event changes the very outcome of the event you're observing. Now, I believe you can understand this if you are over the age of 35 and you've ever caught yourself in the mirror during sex. The act of observing the event has changed the outcome of the event. Forever. And by change, I mean ruined. Once you've seen 2 mounds of flesh going at that, just accept you're no longer in a physical relationship. Light some candles, play some Enya, and accept that it's over for you. That's how I explained it to my stepson anyway. So, thank you so much. Cheers. Good night.